I thrived in Japan. Japan is me, means Japan. Like I love their culture, how like respectful they are.
Dark truth.
See, I can tell what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Telepathic, yeah. Where you going, Miss?
It started already?
Yeah, it's been recording this whole time.
Oh.
That's why I say I'm using your bloopers.
Hello. Welcome back to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
No.
No? Okay.
Alright, so today. Wait, I need to introduce myself.
Well, yeah, you can do this out.
Okay. Hello, YouTube Nation. My name. I'm Cabrina, and this is Nicolette, as you know.
Hello.
And today I'm gonna be asking her 20 questions about her experience in Japan.
Yeah.
And Kyude Gong. So first question, what brought you to Japan?
So I had just finished my master's degree and I didn't want to start working in my field yet. I wanted to travel Asia, and the Japan opportunity literally just popped up. And I applied, I got through, I'm like, okay, but you didn't know Corona happened, so I got to Japan and was stuck. So I couldn't do Asia, I just did Japan.
Oh, nice, nice. But why Asia though?
I don't know, but I know I'm mixed with Asian, and they have very beautiful culture, and I like cultural exchange in its entirety. So I wanted to travel the far side because Asia is really the far side of the world,
Right.
and then work my way back.
Nice. So how did you feel in the weeks and days leading up to your departure to Japan?
So because of the whole Corona thing, I was more anxious or anything because I didn't know what the state was like in terms of their procedures or how Corona was affecting them. If I was still going,
Right.
I didn't know exactly what city I was going to. I just knew the general area. So a lot of misinformation in terms of Corona interrupting everyone's daily plans, and yeah, it was a lot of confusion and anxiety.
So were you scared at any point?
Scared? No, I'm a naturally adventurous person, so I wasn't scared. The only thing that made me a little anxious, as I said, was just the fact that I was going to a new country where there's a pandemic.
Right.
And Japan is so close to China, so it's like, oh my god.
I totally get you, and why? I'm afraid to. Because that's very far from
Very
Jamaica,
far,
right? But what, you spoke about the pandemic because you traveled last year and we're still in the pandemic. But what was the experience like traveling to Japan so far in a pandemic? Like what were the procedures like, you know, going through the different airports, that sort of thing?
That's that video on here about that. You guys can scroll down 1 year ago. It's there. So I went through New York. So New York was empty because when I was leaving in March, the Corona had just reached New York. So the airport was empty, empty. Like literally no security line. You just went right through, and you know New York is a hub, so it's
Right.
always full. Literally, I just walk up to security, go through checkpoints, and it was like that. The flight was empty because lots of flights kept being cancelled and people were told they can't come, and Japan was limiting the persons they were taking. So my flight was really empty. Like I got a whole entire row, not just my 3 seats, but the whole entire row was to myself. And that's where I masked the whole time. And yeah, when I got to Japan though, it was different.
So it was a flight from New York?
Yes, I
straight
had
to
a
Japan?
straight flight, 15-hour flight from New York to Japan. So I slept, I woke up, I slept, I woke up, I slept, I woke up. But the service was really good. Like Japanese people are so well mannered, even in their on the airplane. And
Cats.
even in the airplane, they like I ice cream, wine, like everything you can think of, it was there.
Wow. That's really nice. So, what were your first impressions when you just went to Japan?
I was like, okay, wow, because the airport was also kind of empty. That's inside the airport. Once you got outside, because the airport actually connected to a train station where the Shinkansen are, that's the bullet trains. So my final destination was not in Tokyo. I was going to Hamamatsu, which is like another prefecture over from Tokyo, probably like 2 or 3 hours, 2.5 hours on the Shinkansen from there. So I had to go figure out how to go buy a train ticket, how to ship my bags from the airport to the location, because you can't, I had 3 suitcases, you can't go on the train with 3 suitcases, there's no space. And it's just me one. So that was a whole other thing. And I ended up passing the place where I was supposed to ship the bag and I have to go back up there. And my suitcase broke, one of the wheel, it was just... But I was still in awe because it was so nice and like everything was so new, and I knew enough words to say those words for people to know what I was trying to say. So I figured it out, and yeah, once I got to where I was staying, it was training for that week, and it was just like, oh my god, yeah, okay, I'm in Japan. I really didn't feel like I was in another country until maybe like 2 weeks after the jet lag, because the first week was just jet lag. Like, because I'm a whole day ahead of Jamaica now. It's just like, yeah, it'd be rough. Yeah.
It sounds exciting just the same.
And it was spring, so cold. Yeah, it was rough.
Did you see the cherry blossom?
Yes, I went to see the cherry blossoms. They're beautiful.
So what was the first thing you did upon leaving the airport to Japan? Even though
the first thing I did, so as I said, the Shinkansen,
right,
but I wanted food. And that's when I quickly learned that I would not enjoy all of Japan cuisine. Yeah, it was
What
not
did you
for
have?
me. So I wanted ramen, King of Japan, and then I saw what, on the menu, I saw what it looked like, and I wasn't hungry anymore.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but the good thing though, when I was leaving, I had friends who lived in Japan before. They told me to bring your favorite snacks because the first few months will be an adjustment. The taste is different.
Right.
So I brought my guava snacks and my drops and so I was okay.
Yeah, you're okay.
Yeah, I was okay. And then because of even the hotel for the food, it wasn't good. Honestly, I'm not even lying, it wasn't good. Because of Corona, they didn't have the buffet anymore. So it was the same thing every day, rice ball, and I don't eat beef, and it was not good. The first day I'm tough it out because you have to try the culture of it.
Right.
Second and third day I went to the 7-Eleven and I bought cup soup, warm water. Cup soup was breakfast.
Okay. Sounds like an experience.
It was.
But I mean, I guess because they're not from the culture, you're not used to their type of cuisine.
Yeah,
So it's something that is an acquired taste.
It really is an acquired taste.
Okay. But what were the people like in Japan?
So they're very, very friendly. People are very friendly and helpful. And they're very humble. Like they're so humble. They make humble look like you're not even trying. Yeah, they're so interested in everybody else. Because most people in Japan have probably never even left the country. So everything is just so new and like, oh my god. Yeah. So it was kind of like, oh, you don't know what a real bed, what a big queen size bed look like. It's just like the small things, and one thing they made me really appreciate small things. It's just for them, Japan is a country where making no sense, the thought counts. The thought is what really counts. Because if you get a little ice mint, because when I went to my first schools, I brought them a gift. I brought them coffee.
Right.
And they were so happy. I'm like, it's just coffee still here. But it was like a big thing to them. So it's really the thought that counts.
That's really good. I like that gesture.
Yeah.
It's really nice. So what was your job like?
So I was teaching English to public school kids. It was an experience. It was fun for the most part. I had good kids. They're fascinated with me because I look different. And when they think of Jamaica, they think of someone with probably a dark skin or someone with big puffy hair or dreadlocks or something. I had neither of those. I mean, yeah, I have a puff, but it's not like what you see on TV, right? So first of all, nobody did believe I was from Jamaica. Even after I did my self-introduction, they still kept saying, "Oh, Germany, America." I'm like, no, Jamaica. But the kids, I taught them about Jamaica, the culture, the food, everything, and they really loved it. When I was leaving, one of them was like, "Can I come in your suitcase and come to Jamaica?" They won't know. Yeah, so they're very sweet kids. And I made English fun. I was one of those boring teachers that would give paperwork or whatever. So my classes were fun. We play games. We have real conversations, and they would talk in Japanese, and I speak in English. And yeah, it was really fun. The kids are really fun.
I'm happy to hear that. But what was the most rewarding parts of teaching?
So when I just started, the kids didn't know much English, and we couldn't have a full conversation. By the time I was leaving, they could write me a whole sentence. They made me cards, and it was in English. And I had this thing where for my smaller kids, because I didn't see them every day, maybe once per week or maybe once every 2 weeks. So classes are for 45 minutes. So I would probably leave like 5 minutes open so kids could just come and talk to me, because they're very shy. And they don't necessarily like speaking in like an open class. So for the ones who are very shy, I would like end the class 5 minutes early when I could, and then they would come and talk to me. So they'd ask me, like, even if it's the same question they ask me every day, I answer like it's the first time they ask me. So what's your favorite color? What movies do you like? And by the year progressed, the questions got more interesting. So that they don't ask what animal, they ask, do you have a pet? Or what country, what food. So they learned new words and they could incorporate them in a sentence. So that was rewarding for me. Like,
and
it
you
worked.
did all that.
Yes, I did.
That's really good. So apart from teaching, did you do any sightseeing?
I loved some sightseeing. I did as much as I could. I did hiking. I got into hiking, so I actually like hiking now. I've been complaining every time I do it. If you watch the videos, I actually liked it. Japan is so beautiful. I went sightseeing. So like in Jamaica, we have the big what do you call that? Where the trees that come. Is it bamboo? The bamboo view in Jamaica, where you have when you're driving, there's the trees that come over and close up the road.
It's like
Fern Gully, so they have a place in Japan that's similar, but theirs is more beautiful, and it changes color with the seasons. So I did that. That was breathtaking. That's my favorite memory. In terms of sightseeing, in terms of adventure, no. If people tell the end of the life, I think I was not a ninja. So I got to live out my ninja dream for a day.
Be careful.
I went to Ninja Village, and I got to throw shuriken. They call it shuriken. You throw the thing.
Oh, like the star looking.
Yes. And I learned how to do that, and then I learned the history of how ninjas came about, how they built the houses. I went through the ninja trap, the trap doors.
It was very cool. Like what?
Yeah, it was So I did a lot of sightseeing. And I did karaoke. Japan takes karaoke home. Like I don't like karaoke, but in Japan karaoke is lit. It's literally your own party room. lit. I recommend karaoke in Japan. Lit.
I'll add that to my list.
You should.
Okay. Before going to Japan, though, what preconceptions did you have about the country, the people, the culture?
All I knew about Japan was sushi. Honest to God, all I knew was sushi because I love sushi. So my initial aim was to go there and learn how to make sushi. That's all I really wanted to do. Sushi, go see the ninjas, and fry the train. Those were the only 3 things I cared about. And trying the authentic ramen. That came in later, like way later. But initially, those were the 3 things.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And for the record, Japan sushi and Jamaica sushi is nothing alike.
Which one better?
Jamaica.
Why?
Because Jamaican sushi is flavored to our taste buds, and we have different cuisine. It's mixed. Japan is raw fish, Jamaica own is nicer in terms of the flavoring and the design and everything. Japan own is better in terms of the freshness. Right?
So you don't taste the ocean.
You don't taste the ocean, but you taste it's fresh. Like it probably came in like when you ordered the shrimp, it just came from it's fresh. Yeah, I love that. And then they have these $100 sushi, like $1 sushi, and you get like, I loved it.
So on the topic of food, how was the food? What was your least favorite meal and what was your most favorite meal? Japanese meal, that is.
Oh my god. Least favorite. They do
Kimchi.
they do these I don't want to say it wrong. It's like a place you can go. You can they do like pork and beef and you can cook it, but it's like it's not fully cooked and I don't eat those stuff.
Oh,
But I tried it for trying its sake and no, I didn't. I couldn't do it. My favorite was karage, which is Japanese fried chicken.
oh okay. You're big on fried chicken.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
The difference between Jamaican fried chicken and Japanese fried chicken.
Oh my god, there's no comparison. Jamaica fried chicken have taste. Japan fried chicken is bland. I mean, it has subtle taste, like, so you know it's fried. But when I order salt and pepper and ketchup as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I'm not a breast person, and I think that's all they use. So it's lacking flavor, seasoning, and stuff.
Okay. The Jamaican roots showing
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
So apart from when you're working, you know, how you spend your time, your leisure time, your downtime?
Netflix and chill.
So you just
At
stay
home.
cooped up inside, no going
Sometimes I
outside?
go on adventures. I drive around.
Oh, you drove in Japan?
I did drive it.
So you have your Japanese driver's license?
I actually used my Jamaican driver's license, but I had an IDP, so international driving permit when I was there. I love me to drive.
Nice.
Yeah. I go on adventures, the driving exposures, and I actually had a part-time job. So I taught private students and adults and babies. My students' ages were from like 2 to like 60, 65
Wow.
on a Saturday. So and sometimes if I was on a Sunday, if I had anything planned, I would work as well. Like it was, yeah. Because when the lockdown came around again, like there really wasn't much to do around as work because everything was shut. But I'd go out for like drinks with my friends, dinner, the zoo, excursions.
Okay. Sounds fun either way. Sounds like
Yeah, it
really
was
fun.
hard.
Okay. In going to Japan, looking back, what do you think was your biggest challenge, and how did you overcome it?
My biggest challenge, you know, honestly, Sabrina, I don't think I had a challenge in Japan. I know it was a pandemic and well, there still was a pandemic, but a new country. I felt like I thrived in Japan. Japan is me, means Japan. Like I love their culture, how like respectful they are. For example, you don't use your phone on the train. In Jamaica, you depend on the bus, the
Oh,
music
really?
loud. In Japan, you can sleep, sound sleep. Everybody's on time. If they say the bus coming at 1 o'clock, the bus is driving off at 1 o'clock. It's not coming, it's driving off at 1 o'clock. Like everything is so on time. And if you're even a second late, they apologize. Like it's
Wow.
they respect people's time, how genuine they are, and yeah, I really love Japan. My intention was not to learn Japanese when I was there. And it's like I said, I'm only here for a year, I don't need it, I'm teaching English. Like I come to class, I teach you 2 words and that's it. But like I loved it so much I actually started to learn. And yes, I love Japan.
But how is that for you in comparing or contrasting our Jamaican culture, where we see like a lot of persons aren't that respectful, as you say, going on a bus?
The
or
only
somebody
difference,
playing
so,
music and all of that.
I think to each his own. So I actually had culture shock coming back to Jamaica. I literally had an anxiety attack the first time I took a bus. I can't promise you I didn't do that again. And then I got down to people touching my fire. Like I literally, when I got home, I went to bed at 6 o'clock. And I slept until next morning. Like it was just too much all at once. Like all the shouting, so many people. Like I was like, what is this? It was a lot. And everyone talking to you. And don't get me wrong, I love Jamaica because you can just stare at the person. Oh my God, I love your hair, and it's a conversation. But I got so used to being so respectful of everyone's space that it was just a lot of people touching me, and it was just, yeah. So most persons who are growing in a Jamaican society, I don't think they'll survive in Japan, because it's really to each his own. Like you're your person, and if you don't have friends, yeah, it's not gonna be for you. So my personality kind of different. I can be social, but I really prefer to be by myself. So it was fine for me. I know maybe at least 5 persons who came in my group that went back home before the contract was finished, because they couldn't blend, they couldn't thrive there. It was just too much of a big difference from what they were used to.
Got you. And wow, like that's a really big difference though. But I don't know. I think I would like to see what's it's like in a.
Well, you're like me,
environment
so
that.
I think you would also thrive there, because you're like me. You don't mind being by yourself, and you're adaptable. Lots of people are not adaptable. Jamaicans are naturally loud, expressive people, which is fine for us. Japanese, if you find a drunk person in Japan, even a drunk person is quiet drunk. I mean, they're loud, and that's loud for them, because they're probably walking around and talking, and that's low, and that's disrespectful. And in Jamaica, that's the norm, right? It's no. So I really loved that. I loved it. I loved the quietness, and you just feel safe.
Right.
Like I've never felt so safe in my life. Like I just leave my door open. I go shop. Like, no, you leave your phone, you leave your money, you forget your things on the train. You can go out the next day and get it. Nobody not troubling your things. Nobody. And if it's gone, you can best believe it was probably a foreigner. 90% of the chance, probably a foreign person see it. It's not the Japanese.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Me too.
You mentioned that there were some Jamaicans around you during the experience. What were they like? Were they there for the same reasons that you were?
No, nobody was there for the same reasons I was. Most persons were there for the money, because there's money to be made in Japan.
I'll make a note of that.
Yeah, there really is. I met all of them there. Not like I went with any per se. And every one of them will have a different experience than what I did. Because people experience racism, I cannot say I experienced that. So I know there's good and bad everywhere. So I really can't speak for everyone, but I can only speak for me, and I didn't have a bad experience there.
Okay. Did that make the experience better for you, being around some lightness of Jamaica?
Yes, I think so. It was nice to have people on the same time zone as me. Because when I wake up, everybody on this side were going to bed, and it was just frustrating at times. And people who were going through the same daily struggles as me were concerned, taking a train or traffic or teaching students, or we would have stories to share. So it was, yeah, they made it better. I think so.
Good.
Yeah.
Did you make any Japanese friends?
I did. I have a few Japanese friends.
You still keep in contact?
Yes, I keep in contact with them.
Awesome. So you mentioned taking the train and wanting to try ramen. Were there any other things that you really loved about Japan? Apart from those things that you already mentioned.
Really loved it. I love the freeness that I got. It's like, it's so empowering, because if I can do anything, like the only limitations, and I think it's just because Japan is just not opening to foreigners, so to speak, is the language barrier in terms of getting other jobs outside of the English school. Most foreigners there, if you don't speak Japanese at a fluent level, there's no jobs for you outside of maybe teaching per se. And that's if you have a degree, because you can't teach English without a degree. So I would have lived in Japan. I just didn't feel like I wanted to learn Japanese to a fluent level, because the only place I can use it is in Japan, I want to learn a language, I want to learn a language I can use elsewhere, because I don't stay one place.
True, but good also for diplomatic relations.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Supermarket,
I don't I'm gonna be konnichiwa. So I doubt that's not me. I'm not gonna call to you in the supermarket. But as I said, I knew enough to get around. But I would live in Japan if they would allow foreigners the same opportunity as they would have allowed their own. So that's the only thing I would change about Japan. And maybe something I would edit, not change, is I would allow people to express themselves more. Japan has one of the highest suicide rates in the world, and it's because people are so docile with their emotions that nobody wants to say, oh, I don't like that. People show their emotions more and say what's actually on their mind. Like their suicide rate is so high, and even in Corona time, did you know that in Japan, Corona killed more people? Where is that? Sorry. Suicide death rate was higher than the death rate for Corona in Japan. So much so they had to appoint a minister of emotion. Because the suicide, they had to minister of, I don't know if I'm saying the exact sentence right, but it was a minister that was in charge of how people feel feelings, pretty much, like, and they would give you days and all that jazz. Yeah, that was really bad. Can you imagine there's a pandemic and suicide is killing more people than a pandemic?
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's the only thing I didn't like.
So, you also went to Egypt.
I did. I went to Egypt.
What was that?
Oh my God, Egypt was so good.
Did you see any mummies?
I did. I saw two.
I'm sorry.
I saw two, and they still had hair.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And how was the camel?
Oh, scary. Oh my God,
Scary.
it's so scary because of how they get up.
Oh, because they're kneeling first and then okay.
Yeah, I was fully ready to go on a whole camel ride, and when the thing got up and walked, I was like, put me down. Take me down now.
Oh, wow.
I watched that video today, by the way.
Crazy.
Wow. But I'm glad you got to experience somewhere else, you know, even in the midst of the whole pandemic and all of that. You still got to
Do something.
do something.
Take another country off my bucket list.
Right?
Yeah.
Did you pick up any new words for Japan and Egypt?
New words. Well, I mean, I can have a full conversation in Japanese. It went with Japanese and English. Spanish.
That's all I have. It's Korean, but never mind.
But in Japanese, like I can order stuff. I know. The kids talk to me. They're actually very gestury, and that's a word. They use a lot of gesture. So it helps with understanding what they're also saying. So that helped me with knowing what words. And what surprised me the most, we're at a restaurant one day and I was talking Japanese, but it wasn't conscious. It just happened. And I was saying words that I myself didn't know I knew. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Like when I finished talking, I had to go and check Google. What is this? Like, okay. Yeah, it was my Japanese friend, so she's like, Nikki. I was like, yeah, I know. It was a whole thing. Yeah. It was a whole thing.
That's really cool. I'm super proud of that.
Thank you. I don't know how long it will last though, because the only reason why I learned Japanese through talking to people. It wasn't like I sit down and study every day. So if I'm not talking to somebody, I don't know how long it will last.
Yeah, because languages you have to practice them. And on that note, and to wrap up our session, would you go back to Japan?
I would definitely go back to Japan. Not to live anymore though. I'll definitely take my kids there.
You can take me to.
I'll take you.
Just put me in there.
No, I'll buy you a ticket, friend. Buy you a ticket.
Good sis Cashy.
I'll definitely go back for tourist purposes because there's lots of things I wanted to do and see, but I couldn't because of and I definitely go back for, as I said, tourist purposes to see the places I need to see, like Okinawa Island, must see. Like it's a beautiful island. I need to go there. I haven't been to Disney Tokyo, so there's like literally 4 more things, and Hiroshima. That's where the bomb. Yeah, so there's literally 4 more things on my list that I have to do when I plan to go back. And I'll definitely take my family there when I'm going, and obviously you. It's like, yeah, so that was Japan.
Okay, thanks Nicole.
You're welcome.
And thank you YouTube Nation for allowing me to be here.
Gang, gang.
Alright guys, remember to like, share, subscribe, leave comments below. Tell us topics you want to hear about on Talk Truth. Bye.